Not really. Can't believe I came all the way from London to get this weather. Thank you. It's not a big change. So, thank you for the introduction. I'm going to spend just 5 minutes giving you a few facts and figures. All that matters. That's the program we're in. Mattering is what a lot of brands are looking after today. And we wanted to share with you a specific example about that. And especially when we think millennials. Let me tell the clicker. That said, a lot of brands are not yet there. And the proof is that 74% of the people will not care if a favorite brand will disappear tomorrow. 74%. Meaning 3 brands out of 4 disappear tomorrow, no one cares. There is no more loyalty, no more love. Think Harley Davidson. They used to offer job for life. Why? Because there used to be this loyalty. And now it's gone. There is not much about it. So now I'm going to show you a few more numbers. The first one is about the decline of traditional marketing through 2 numbers. $37 billion of marketing is wasted every year. That's ridiculous. Imagine you go and see your CFO and you tell him, you know what, today I'm going to spend 60% of your money you gave me through the window. That's what it is about. But why? Why this money is wasted? Well, millennials and our Gen Z, they're very clever. They're very technology savvy. How many of you have ad blocking on their mobile phone or computers? How many of you? See, that's your fault. That's the problem. A second number is 38% of marketers will decrease traditional spend this year. So why that? Well, brand needs to get consumer attention, but they need to do it differently. And that's why they're changing the way they communicate with the consumers. And that's why we're going to develop this a bit further. When you have the attention span of a millennials of 12 seconds, you know you don't have a lot of time to play with. That's for sure. And by the way, if you think 12 seconds is a lot, for Gen Z, the generation that follows, it's 8 seconds. So you need to find a way to communicate which is more relevant. By 2020, 10 times more content will be uploaded on the web. I cannot imagine the length of the next generation after the Gen Z attention span when you see that there will be all this content. How do I select? How do I look at all of that? But funny enough, this is not because you will have more content, but it is an issue. If you listen to the CMO today, they will tell you that 78% of them will tell you that actually content is the future of marketing, but different content, a clever content. And again, I will show you a bit more about that in a second. When it comes to content, interestingly, if you ask for millennials, they will tell you that the number 1 influencers in terms of content is actually music artists. Even before their peers or movie stars. But what they really want to do is actually to create this content themselves. They want followers. They want interaction. They want engagement. They want share. They want all of this. Imagine, therefore, audience creating music content for the brand they like. And Marriott and Aloft Hotel have understood that. And that's why we thought today with Music Matters team, we thought it would be a good idea to have on stage someone to present that for us. It's a very, it's quite genius, musical, cultural program where they turn customers into music artists. But it's probably better if I play a quick video first to show you what it looks like.
Introducing Project Aloft Star, an artist discovery platform by Aloft Hotels in partnership with Universal Music Group. With competitions in the Americas, United Arab Emirates, Europe and Asia Pacific. Aloft Hotels continues to be Marriott International's brand, dedicated to supporting emerging music makers. This year's Asian competition sees that relationship evolving even further, increasing the stakes of the grand prize and providing the opportunity to engage with new media and influencers, as well as creating unique live opportunities for unsigned artists. Project Aloft Star offers access to mentoring from established artists and industry experts, recording sessions and even a worldwide single release with Universal Music, kickstarting their careers to the next level and building authentic connections by actively contributing to the creative community.
Thank you. So to talk to us more about this today, we're very lucky to have Shuping Liang. Do you want to join us on stage? Thank you so much to talk. Shuping is brand and marketing director at Marriott International. So I suggest we take a seat. And I'm going to switch sides.
Hi, everyone.
Here we are. So thank you for being here. Are you freezing as well?
Yes.
I am. Okay, so I've prepared a few questions for you. I'm going to start with the first one. Aloft, I mean, maybe you could explain, by the way, what is Aloft compared to Marriott, because it's very confusing for me at the moment. But you always had a presence in music. Aloft always had a presence in music when I looked at it. And why did the brand make this choice at the beginning? And did this presence in music has evolved over the years?
So hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shuping, and I'm the brand and marketing director for Marriott International in Asia Pacific. So, you know, Marriott International is a portfolio of 30 brands across the world. Aloft is one of the hotel brands within our powerful portfolio. And with 30 brands, it's very important for us to then really make each brand distinct so that it appeals to a specific target audience. You know, with each of our brands, we want to be everything for someone rather than something for everyone. So with Aloft, it was designed really to be the affordable alternative for the next-gen traveler. It's a if you don't know the brand, we sit in the 4.5-star hotel space. And it was designed for the design and tech-savvy crowd. In that space, you know, we really want to create a brand with a personality where you get highly experiential with us. So, you know, among our passion points, speaking to the millennials, we know digital is very important. That's one of our key pillars. We do a lot of experiments with technology to see how we communicate with our guests and how we interact with our guests in the hotel. And specifically within this millennial set, we want to talk to the people we call self-expressors. And these people are those who are not afraid to show their own eclectic style and very confidently social. And music, I think, it's a key passion for us because it's a key pillar in which people use to express themselves, both in the music they like and the music they write. We also have regular programs, music programs in our hotels called Live at Aloft Hotels. And this is where our hotels get local emerging talent to perform and really create that social vibe in the hotel.
Okay, thank you. It looks great. And then you came up with a project called, actually, Project Aloft Star. Did you create this with millennials in mind, or how did that come out?
So the brand was created for millennials in mind. We do live music events in our hotels, and Project Love Star really is a culmination of all that. What it is, if you've seen, is a competition and a talent hunt for really the next big thing in music. So what we go after emerging unsigned artists, those who are just starting out, and we want to provide that platform for them to be discovered and get their big break. We already, host these performances in our hotels, but we want to take that step forward, and how can we give them a bigger platform to share that with the world? So yeah, definitely, I think.
You just said it around the world. Is it right that Project I Love Star has been launched also, definitely in US? I think it's also in Middle East and Europe, and now in Asia, and it's happening now, by the way, I believe. What difference did you have to do anything? It's a global project, which is localized, I guess, here. Did you have to adapt, change things, think differently, your approach to markets?
Definitely. I think the Project of Star competition started in the US when the brand launched in Asia 5 years ago. Okay. We then decided to do the Asia leg of it. And in Asia, it's tricky because we have so many countries. It's varied languages, cultures. So when we first started, we ran three separate competitions in China, in India, and Southeast Asia, because we didn't think that, we could do a pan-regional one. This year is in our 5th year. We're trying something new. We've gone more localized in terms of content, so we're working with, local influencers in India, in Australia, and in China, or Southeast Asia. Local influencers doing local content. But then we're going to have our finals, actually next week in Seoul, where we have finalists from India, Australia, South Korea, Greater China, Southeast Asia, all competing together on one stage for the grand prize for a record deal with Universal Music. So it'll be an interesting experiment. I think with today's globalized nature of the world, I think music cuts across cultures. People are very exposed to different types of music, and I think it'll be an interesting performance that we have next week.
So you mentioned South Korea, Southeast Asia, Australia, India. I kind of understand music because of my job. These different markets, I mean, culturally and musically, they're all different. How do you manage to create the competition across all these markets when you have so much different genre and style of music? Did you find it a problem, or it was okay?
It's an interesting exercise. As I mentioned, with content, we had to go very local to make it very relevant to the audiences there. But I think on a competition stage, you have all these big talent competitions these days, and we're really looking for the international appeal. Okay. I think for an artist to succeed beyond your home country, you really want to be on a global stage, right? So this is one step forward. Last year, we had a finalist from Indonesia. He didn't have a passport. Through this competition, we sent him for the finals in Perth, Australia. We had to get him a passport. He was from a little island in Indonesia, not Jakarta. We had to apply for a passport, and that really spoke to me, because as a travel company, as a hotel brand, what we do is, provide access to different countries and that cross-cultural exchange. So for him, with this competition, it gave him that step out of his country, first time out of the country into Australia to perform in front of an Australian audience. And I think this year, he was shortlisted for X Factor in the UK. So music as a way to reach across borders and travel as a way to enable that, I think is a very meaningful platform.
I agree. I still remember the first time I met Imagine Dragons. It was the first time they were having a passport as well. In terms of, so ignore Project I Love Star specifically, and as a brand director for Marriott, if you think engagement with millennials audience, every brand is talking about KPI, return on investment, and all of that. What are the key performance indicator, KPI, for you when you engage with millennials?
And for me, I would really like to see the organic social buzz we create, and not just from pure social media, but we create experiences that we interact with our guests in our hotels. We create experiences like Project Love Star, and we want these to be then talked about And I think if people are talking about you rather than you talking about yourself, that's a true indicator of success. I think it's a bit hard to track across the different markets. They are using different platforms.
You could hear about noise, conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So we do,
number of sharing.
So we do that. I think that's the benchmark. Different countries, we have different benchmarks based on,
you have different KPI per country?
The KPIs are similar throughout, but I think how we perform in each market, we monitor based on how we did the previous years, so benchmarking each country among themselves. In our key source markets, this is where our guests come from. It's important to see what people are saying about us. And beyond this campaign, as you mentioned, it's about equipping each and every hotel to create experiences worth talking about all year long.
Okay. One interesting thing I noticed when I looked at your campaign is that unlike many brands, I would say 99% of the brands always go for the big name artist. They go with Taylor Swift, Shawn Mendes, Maroon 5. You decided to go actually by for emerging artists and actually creating them even yourself. So why that? Was it a conscious decisions to go about, I don't know, why?
I think they each have different roles to play. We're also working with established artists like Salim Merchant in India, Yang Wenying in Greater China, and they play the role of the mentor, guiding our finalists and helping them craft their work. Enabling emerging artists, I think it's a more meaningful role in a different way because we give them that platform to shine and be discovered. And being the first one there at the start of their career journey, I think will have a more long-lasting impact in that sense. Not many people sort of look at that, but also we focus a lot on original singer-songwriters. There are a lot of talent competitions out there that just look at you doing a cover, singing well, but we really want to nurture that origination and creating your own
well, actually,
voice.
You're creating culture.
Yeah, exactly.
You're creating culture.
And being part of that process.
And be part of his journey. So interesting. If you look at the audience today and you wanted to give them an advice on how to engage with millennials, is there any tip, any things to do, not to do?
I don't have the perfect answer, but I think as many speakers here have mentioned, content, but relevant and useful and engaging content. You want to either make them feel something, learn something, or discuss something, and then creating experiences that are different, right? So how can we create something new for them to experience, whether it's offline or online? I think with the digital age, everybody is already so exposed to different things. We need to find that niche and how do we create access to things that they wouldn't have without us.
Okay. What not to do? What other brands, without mentioning them, do you think they will do wrong by engaging with millennials? Or is there anything you learned said, oof, we should not do that?
I think we shouldn't generalize millennials. At the end of the day,
That's what we just did for the last half an
trends, hour. Let me get to my point. Trends change, millennials are fickle, as everyone said. At the end of the day, I think we got to remember who your brand is, be authentic to what the brand stands for. That is the one thing that doesn't change, right? We don't change according to who we're speaking to, we change how we speak to the different audiences. As I mentioned earlier, we don't try and be something for everyone. We want to be everything to someone. So know who you are, know who you want to target, specifically that niche crowd, and then talk to them.
And give them what they want.
Yeah, authenticity, and really carry it through. So that's why we partner with Universal Music. Aloft Hotels is a hotel brand. We're not music experts. We want to create this generation of culture makers, and we partner with the right partners to help bring that to life so that we actually value add to their journey.
Excellent. So I see we have 5 minutes left. Should we have 1 or 2 questions from the audience if you want to talk about anything? Any question to myself or to Xu Ping, as you prefer? No obligations. Oh, there's one over back.
A question a lot of brands face when they do activations like this is to calculate ROI on it. Do you have any thoughts on how you calculate ROI on it?
That's for you or for me? What was the question? That's for you, no?
Yes.
How do you calculate ROI?
There's of course big pressure internally for ROI. You know, I think we have immediate metrics we can look at with a competition from a campaign performance, whether it's, you know, number of entries that we get. But then, you know, in this case, it's really long-term brand building, building that audience that grows with us. You know, we can measure, you know, hotel stays or bookings or who comes to our thing, but immediate impact, we have to see the audience grow with us across time. We're doing very well from a business point of view, you know. I can't attribute it to this campaign, but really building the audience that the brand is designed for and ensuring that 5 years down the road, we're still, you know, they're still staying with us or they grow with us through the portfolio of brands we have in the group.
I have to say, in the old world of marketing, it's a good question, by the way, but in the old world of marketing, if you think about it, it was all about GRP, gross rating point, and it was about repetition. How many people see my ad? If you do a campaign with an artist just for 2 months, there is no point doing it. It's the same concept. You need repetition, so you're absolutely right when you said it's about, you need time, you need to repeat it. So effectively, as for the old model, the new model of engagement with an artist, you see the difference. Is one more question somewhere? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hi, yes, my name is Zix. I'm from South Africa. My question is basically on understanding how can maybe, I'm coming from the music perspective, from in terms of like the artist, how like the music, how it's changing right now, and the relationship between the markets as who represents brands, working with agencies, and agencies having to be the people who engage with artists in terms of what they're trying to push in that particular relationship. How can an artist currently have an idea that he can present to a rollout that can be presented to agencies via the markets? How can an artist place themselves in a right manner in which brands can be able to work with that particular artist instead of launching whatever that they want to launch?
You're an artist yourself?
Yes, I am.
Great. It's more for me. Artists, by definition, are creative people. And I love when you say, how can I share an idea with a brand? And you explaining it goes through agencies. Yes and no. As you could see here, you have Marriott who's interacting directly with new talent and giving them their chance. But you're right, in general, it's effectively, you have to go through an agency, etc. The truth is that most of this happens thanks to your label. So whatever you're being signed, that's where you have a discussions, and you discuss with a label, and you say, I want to work with this, etc. One thing for sure I've noticed over the last 2 years is that you mentioned authenticity before. You need, it's the period where you match an artist and said, go and represent this fast food brand. Well, I'm a veggie, I don't care. Okay, that doesn't work. So now it's all about passion points. How can you match the passion point of an artist with what the brand wants to achieve and the real value of a brand? So if you have this authenticity, and to answer to your question, you communicate that with your label, and then you engage with brands. Yes, you want to? And then we cut it off.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hog a microphone. I just wanted to have a follow-up question. Brands and the advertising agencies or whatever agent that works with brands, they will change their marketing strategy one way or the other. They will move from brand ambassadorship to influencers,
sure,
right? And once that has changed, then as the industry, the musician, then you are suddenly supposed to be an influencer when you're looking at yourself as perhaps a brand. Now, how does one make sure that they still present themselves in a manner in which whatever that particular brand is thinking of doing that arts, instead of influencing, the artist is able to? It's not like a rent a face, kind of like an approach where the marketing plan has been done. All you want is just to attach an artist onto whatever that we've decided. How does an artist then manage to just say, this is where I want? Sorry, man, I don't know. Like, if I get, how do you move from the conformed marketing, you know, that has been created for industry as an artist to be able just to do your own, working with different brands? I don't know if I'm making sense. Like,
Alors, it's good. We have 3 hours, guys. So let's do that in the next 3 hours. No, we can't. It's a big question. I'm happy to talk to you and follow up now. It's too long of an answer and a question. I'm sorry, I see the thing flashing, telling me to get out. But please grab me at the end. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Again, shipping from Marriott International. Thank you so much.